Alright, so, we have kind of the full character in a way, but we have to kind of polish the whole thing. So, what I'm going to do first is, take what we have on this side and, actually, you know what? We'll keep working on this side and then we'll flip it afterwards. Okay, so we'll work from the top up, or from the bottom up. Okay, so his foot, we have the edge loops as they are needed, but they are not what they could be. So I'm going to switch to polygons, I'm going to do the multi-cut tool, and we're just going to add some edge loops in here. So I'm going to hold control, click on this guy. Okay, I'm going to hold control, and I'm just going to add some in here. So I'm going to go boom, and boom. Okay, I'm just going to take what we have here, I'm going to right click, drag to vertex, turn soft select back off, and I'm just going to basically try, actually we'll switch to a side view here, and I'll F to frame, and I'm just going to try and make this look a little bit better. So I'm going to take that and pull this one here, oops, here, in general. Okay, tap space bar. I'm looking at the foot, looks kind of junky, so I'm going to grab the bottom here, all the bottom vertices, and I hit B, click and drag for soft select, and I'm going to hit R, and I'm going to scale it a little bit wider. Okay, feet usually get a little bit wider towards the end there. That looks pretty okay. I'm going to right click, drag to edge. I'm going to double click on this edge loop. I'm going to hit B to turn soft select off, and then I'm just going to kind of spread that out a little bit too. Okay, so that looks a little bit better. Now, he's got a bit of a, you know, he looks like he's Frankenstein feet here because it's just cut off. Feet are generally round, so I'm going to right click, go to vertex. I'm going to grab this chunk, I'm going to hold shift and grab this chunk. So basically I have these three vertices and these three vertices, okay? And then I'll just hit W for the move tool, and I'm just going to push those back like that. And you can see it gives kind of a pseudo roundness, okay? I'm going to do the same thing on this end. I'm going to grab this guy, and we'll just kind of pull this in a little bit, and maybe I'll scale it in a little bit too, just to kind of get an idea that it looks round. All right. I don't like where these are, so I'm going to grab these, and I'm just going to W and kind of pull it down so that it's a little more in line, because it's kind of janked up there, and that looks okay. Now, I need to add more geometry for the leg here. We're going to start with a knee. I'm going to use my multi-cut tool again. I'm going to hold control and go right where the knee is. Okay, so if you look though, you can see again it's kind of jank. It's not that great, so I'm hit Q or W or E or R, any one of the manipulators, just to get off of that multi-cut tool. I'm going to click and drag across. So I grab all of those verts. I'm going to hit R for scale. I'm going to scale it flat, like so. Great. Now, what I'm going to do is this. I don't, if you look, it's very flat because it came out of a straight thing. I don't want it to be straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to grab all the corner verts. So this vert, this vert, this vert, and this vert, not the center ones, okay? I'm going to take those, I'm going to hit scale, and I'm just going to pull them in by the middle. And what's going to do is it scales them all towards the center, so it ends up looking more round, okay? You gotta kind of have to balance that to your particular situation. I'll grab the whole thing and scale out a little bit. Okay, so it looks a little bit better. All right, so I got a knee. Now I just need to do a thigh and a calf. So I'm going to do the same thing. Multi-cut tool. Click on this. Hold control. Boom. And boom. I'm going to do the exact same thing again. I'm going to click and drag across. Right click. Go to vertex mode. Drag across. Hit R for scale. Shoink. I'm going to grab this one. Also hit R for scale. Shoink. Helps if you make the sound effect. And I'm just going to manually try and make this look a little bit better. So I'm going to kind of pull this one in. And I'm going to grab this guy and sort of pull this one in. And we'll grab this one and pull this one in. And then we'll grab this and pull this in. And push that down a little. Okay, so you get kind of the idea. And same thing here. So I'll take this and push this one in a little. That kind of thing. Okay, so I'm just trying to round the leg out so it doesn't look quite so terrible. Okay, so I got kind of a rough sort of shape here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, drag up to edge, double click, and I'm just going to pull this down a little bit. Okay, so I got this kind of looking like that, and that's pretty adequate. I mean, it's roughly kind of a shape. The arm needs a little bit more work. It's always good to work broad or specific. I'm going to come back down to this, but I'm just kind of going over the whole thing to kind of make it all match up. So I'm going to use my multi-cut tool again, and I'm going to, actually, before I even do that, if you look, this is very square, right? If you look, that's almost a square that this is coming out of. It's not exactly right. It's also really fat. So I'm going to take these bottom edges and I'm going to go ahead and move those kind of up. Actually, you know what? We'll grab those. I'm going to double click to grab this whole edge loop all the way around. And I'm just going to pull it up in general. And that's a little bit better. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to, again, grab these outside verts, all the corner ones, like so. And I'm going to hit R for scale and scale them in a little bit. And you can see it kind of rounds it out. I'm going to go a little bit like that. His arm looks very tall, but not round out this way. So what I'm going to do is grab all of the arm verts. Okay, so I have all of these arm vertices, and I'm just going to scale out wider this way. Okay, so, and, you know, from there I can just manually move some of these around and stuff. You know, maybe these go out a little bit more, and maybe take these ones and scale these in a little bit more. That kind of a thing, okay? So, I'm just going to picture that he's wearing a t-shirt, and, we'll kind of go from there. So I'm going to use my multi-cut tool. I'm going to hold, I'm going to go right where his elbow would be. So we'll say here. All right. And I'm also going to just do this. I'll do forearm and bicep. Okay. And on right click, drag to vertex, grab all these ones. Make sure I got all the ones all the way around. And hit R for scale. And I want to scale on X to flatten. Take this one, X to flatten, this one, X to flatten. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do from here is basically scale these to look a little bit nicer. So I'll take these whole as a whole and scale down a little bit. Okay. Now, his bicep will usually be a little bit wider on this angle. Okay. And his forearm is typically a little bit wider on this angle. And then what we're also going to do is take the elbow and we're going to push it back just a touch. Like that. Not a lot, but a little bit. Okay. So we got kind of a rough general shape. Now what I'm going to do is just show you how to do clothes real quick, so you get kind of an idea on that. All right, so he's wearing shoes. I'm not going to do the whole tongue thing because that takes a while, but I'm just going to show you how to make a ridge. So I'm going to use my multi-cut tool, and I'm going to hold, make sure I got my mouse selected, hold control, boom. Okay, let's try it again. Click. Cool. It's not, let's see something. Nope. All right. Go to object mode. Object mode. All right. Oh, there. Okay. There it goes. Grab this, hold control. Okay. Click. Okay. So when that happens, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this video. I'm going to save it and restart. Actually, sometimes what happens with this is a good thing to know too. So see how I did object mode, then I wiggle. Sometimes the video card fails. Another thing you can do too, every action you do, oh geez, the video card did. You can see it's not showing up here. You could try going to edit, and it's always good to do this every now and then. Delete all by type history. Let's see. Okay. So I'm going to save this and open Maya back up. Because you notice when I click on it, nothing's showing up in this or the attribute editor, even though I have the object selected. And when I click on, see I clicked on it, but watch, if I move the camera, see how it shows up. So there's a weird glitch. This just happens in Maya. It sucks. But I'm going to save it and then I'm going to restart it. So I'm just going to Control-Shift-S, save as a new version. And 6, okay, and continue. I'm going to close this and reopen it, and then I'll start the video up again. So it actually wouldn't even let me quit. It would let me click on the button and stuff, but it just stayed up. So I actually had to force quit it, which is always fun. Okay, so I closed out, reopened it up, so on and so forth. Okay, so I'm going to use my multi-cut tool. Boom. I'm going to, dang it. Okay, I'm going to hold Control. I'm going to click like that. Q. I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to scale it flat. Shoink, like so. Alright, and I'll scale it in a little bit. So we're going to call this like what the ankle is. Now, if I want to put, let's say like a, actually, sorry, hang on a second. Let's grab this, like that. Okay, let's say this is what I want the shoe to be. So I'll scale this actually a little bit wider. To do like clothes, sort of, this isn't like a great, it works good for like video games or low poly stuff. I'm just going to put another edge. I'm going to get real nice and tight here. I'm going to put another edge really kind of close to this guy, like that. Okay, so you can see it's super duper close. All right, I'm going to double click on that edge loop. I'm going to scale that in. And if you notice, it'll look like there's a ridge there. See what I'm saying? That's the idea. So I'm going to do the same thing here. He's supposed to be wearing shorts. So I'm just going to, again, use the multi-cut tool here, and it's like just above the knee. And then, so I'll put one there, and then I'll put one really tight to it. Ah, crap. Gotta be close, like that. Q. Grab that one. I'm going to hit R for scale. Shoink. And that will be, and I'll scale this up a little bit too. That will be his shorts. I'll scale this up a little bit more, and maybe take this one and scale it down a little bit. And that's how you do kind of clothes. All right. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to use the bicep one that's right here already, and I'm going to hold control and get really close and tight to it. You could also just use like a really tight bevel, but I don't know. Scale this up a little bit, and then we'll take the inside one and scale that down a little bit, and I'm going to take this and scale that down, and we'll take this one and scale that down a little bit too. Okay. And we would do the same thing here. So boom, and doink, and I'm going to scale this in anyway. Okay, like so. And then just show you I can do bevel, so I'm going to hit the little bevel tool instead. And I'm just going to make this like 0.01, which you'll see what it does is it makes a really close line. I'll take the second one, and I double click on the edge loop and just cut that in a little bit. And I'm actually going to push this in a little bit as well. So it kind of looks like a shirt line. I'm going to also add in another edge loop in there, Q, R, and kind of scale that in just so that it's a little more fluid. Okay. All right. So, all right. So that is looking like a thing. So, another fix I want to do. So we did this one thing here, but we ended up with tries. I'd like to make this a quad. It's pretty easy. I'm going to go my multi-cut tool. I'm going to hold control. And if I click like this, it adds an edge loop. But subsequently, it actually makes this. I'm going to right click, drag up to vertice. Makes this a quad. So I'm just going to kind of pull it like that. And you'll see now it looks like a quad. And this, and pull it like that. And it's also nice because it gives me an area to make a buttocks. So if you want to have, you know, some Kim Kardashian, you know, badonky donk there, you're all set. Okay, so now he's got something humorous about that. All right, so we got kind of that going on. That's the thing. And what I would tell you to do is kind of polish it at this point. I'm just going to show you how to quickly flip this, and then we're going to have to do another thing. Okay, so I'm going to right click, go to face, over the whole thing. I'm going to click and drag over half of it. Okay, so you want to make sure you get half. Don't cut. See right here? I cut in a little bit, so I'm going to control and unselect that. But I only want half. No more, no less. So it's a little bit in there. Let me just see. I obviously messed up a little bit. Let's see here. Okay, but it looks like that's half. We're going to hit delete to delete that half. So now I have half a person. Okay. Now, the problem with that is that, oh, you can see it here. So I'm going to hit the space bar. The front here, you can see it kind of cut in. So my line's not straight. So I'm going to right click, go to vertex, and I'm going to go right down the line here, all the way. I'm going to click and drag, and I'm going to hold, now if I hold shift, you'll notice that it toggle selects. If I hold control and shift, it will only add. So I'm going to hold control and shift and add all of these dudes all the way down like so. And then I'm going to hit R for scale, and I'm going to scale it flat like this. I'm just going to pull it straight to the center. And I want to make sure it's on that center line. So I'm going to turn the waffle back on, the grid. And then I'm going to hit W for the move tool. And then this will allow me to move it. Now, I want it to be right on this. So I'm going to hold X, which is grid snap. Boom, boom, like that. Now it's snapped on the center, and the line is center. So I'm going to right click, go back to object mode, select this. I'm going to hit Control D for duplicate. And then the scale X over here in the channel box, hit the little piece of paper. Type in -1, and now you have two halves. Okay, select both, do mesh combine. Now they're not actually combined yet, so now you got to do is right click, go to vertex, click and drag over the entire thing, and hit merge. This is going to come up. Make sure by default it's 0.01. Make sure it's 0.001. And then if you hit 3, you can see a preview, and you have your guy combined. And what we'll do is we'll kind of clean this up in the next video.